Hey, babes. Welcome to the first episode of She's Lost Her Mind podcast, where we talk about healing, we break down things that are going on in pop culture, and we give other women a platform to share their stories. Because gossiping, well, it has many origins, but my favorite origin of gossiping is that it was friendship among women. They shared stories, skills amongst each other to survive. And then it was demonized because, of course, the men folk got upset when women would rather spend time with their friends rather than their fucking husbands. Can relate. We also fold our laundry together. So grab that fucking laundry because I know you have some. And today we're going to talk about the traumas that I got over through listening to Eminem. And I've been to therapy off and on my entire life. And I'm going to tell you, I had the craziest breakthroughs listening to his music. And we're going to talk about it today because the more that we talk about our traumas, the more I'm starting to realize that we're all going through a lot of the same shit. And if I had heard people talk about it, like other women, and heard other stories, you never know. Your story might be the story that wakes someone else up. So spread your story. Be a motherfucking renegade. Let the people decide if Shady's as bad as they say he is. No, women need to share their stories, though, for sure. So let's get into it. I got out of a breakup last year, and it ended the same as a lot of my past relationships have ended. And I just remember crying on the phone to my parents and being like, what is wrong with me personally that I keep going through this? Like, this is something inside of me that like I need to heal, or that I need to acknowledge, change something, because all my relationships are ending the exact fucking thing. My exes, they always come to my house and do weird things and like try to, I don't know, get me back through like manipulating me. I don't even understand what they think they're doing by like showing up and like saying these mean, awful things to me when I'm just like, please leave me alone. Anyway, we're not going to get into that. I've been going through this pattern for about 10 years now. So I just realized I was super angry, and there's no easy way to say this. So I'm just going to rip the band-aid off. And of course, this episode does need a trigger warning. I'm going to talk about self-harm, suicide, abusive relationships, narcissism, gaslighting, and if Eminem's music offends you, this isn't the episode for you. So just keep that in mind when you think about listening to this. So with that being said, there's really no easy way to say this. I was written a message from my ex, who was my high school sweetheart, first love of my life, you know, all the things. We broke up because we were just like super young. You don't really know how to handle love when you're that young. And we had talked on and off, and then he got another girlfriend, and I was just upset. He writes me this message saying that he's gonna move, and he wasn't moving. Those were like his last words to me. And when I think about it, it really crushes my entire being, because like that wasn't a great conversation between the two of us. But yeah, I keep that letter with me. He took his life about 2 months later, and I keep that letter with me literally at all times. I understand that's not healthy if you're like, hey girl, I thought you said that you were healed. No. I am healing. I don't know if I will ever be healed from this because it altered my whole ass brain chemistry. So I keep this letter with me, and I just realized I, for some reason, just think I deserve to be in these toxic cycles, because I didn't answer correctly. I didn't answer correctly, and I was blaming myself for something that he did. It didn't have anything to do with me. Um, I do understand that. Could I have responded differently? Yeah, but also, like, I was really hurt, so I don't know how else he expected me to respond. I was very young and just dumb at the time, and I still have a hard time forgiving myself for that, but we're gonna move past that at some point. Will I ever delete the letter out of my phone? Probably not, but we're getting there. We are at least noticing that I love it when men treat me like shit because I think I deserve it for some weird ass reason. I really realized that when I listened to Spacebound and he says, "Don't play games. It'd be dangerous if you fuck me over. Because if I get burnt, I'm going to show you what it's like to hurt. Because I've been treated like dirt before ya. Love is evil. Spell it backwards. I'll show ya." Yeah, this is exactly how I felt. It was almost like I was addicted to feeling hurt. I was like self-deprecating. I was like, "Hey, you look like somebody who would treat me like fucking shit." I also was having addiction problems at that time. I hung out with other people. I'm not going to speak for them, but they definitely used substances and drank alcohol a lot. That song kind of made me just realize, like, holy fucking shit. I am a scarred ass bitch and I need to fucking take accountability for that because I am inviting these toxic cycles and almost everybody I've dated in the last like 10 years has had a slew of people that have been like, "Watch out, don't let them play their bullshit on you. You should probably not be with that person." Yeah, I probably shouldn't have. So if you told me that before I dated any of my exes, I'm so sorry. I should have listened. I just was on a spree of hating myself. It's fine. Oh, no, it's not. It was awful. It was so awful. I'm so sorry. I should have taken the advice from my fellow women. And that's what we're talking about on this fucking show. So take it from me. If you've been through a tragic situation, you do not deserve to abuse yourself. You do not deserve to put yourself in abusive situations or anything like that. The reason why Eminem really just gave me a bunch of aha light bulb moments is because I realized from watching old interviews and things like that, I guess I forgot, like, Tim was bigger than he was, and, like, all of his past roommates, past friends, his mom, his uncles, they all talk about how Kim used to hit him all the time, and she would scream at him, and he would just, like, sit there and take it. "Oh, Marshall, I hate that for you." Oh, I'm channeling my inner bee rabbit today with the gray sweats, mismatch, and the white tank. I always thought, like, listening to his music and Gen Z really gets up in arms about this, about his lyrics. I agree, they're fucking crazy, but what I will say is this is his lyrics are what it feels like in your brain when you fucking snap on the inside and you can't do anything about it on the outside. Um, and I really feel that when if we re-listen to the song Tim, I know that sounds not so unhinged. And you know what? It fucking is because I've had exes that have kept a house key of mine and would like use it to intimidate me and scare me. And then one time I said I got it back, but he like made a copy of it. I've had men overpower me with their voice, their size, because I'm like 5'1". I really do get in these scenarios where these men just they use whatever it is to their advantage to overpower me. And this is what it feels like when you finally fucking snap and you just freak the fuck out. And mind you, I also had addiction problems and like all of these relationships. And when I wasn't drinking, it wasn't substances I was addicted to. It was this crazy cycle that would peak my cortisol levels and just put me in instant fight or flight mode. And it was awful. And I realized that in itself was a whole ass addiction. In the song, Eminem is like, what's the matter, Kim? Am I too loud for you? You're gonna finally hear me out this time. Then he like starts screaming and he's like, look at your husband now. He's not so high, is he? Or he's not so high in your eyes. Whatever. If I'm fucking up that lyric, fuck you. Don't at me. So that's what it fucking feels like, bro. Because honestly, I can't tell you, all of my exes always use that against me. Oh, you were drunk. You don't know. You were drunk. You don't know. They use that as an excuse to treat me like shit. Because if they just keep saying, I didn't know because I was drunk, now you have this upper hand against me. It just was awful. I don't ever want to be in a scenario like that again. So I just am going back to being silly. California sober is what my friend told me. 'Cause sometimes I like to have a Cosmo at dinner. And yeah, so they would like use that against me. And so the next morning when I would bring up like, you were screaming at me in the car, BTW, you also probably shouldn't have been driving. Um, sure, throw that out there, you fucking losers. Then they would always clap back with, well, you were drunk, you don't remember, and I was fine. You were the drunk one and I was sober. What? They would say this about arguments, about anything, literally anything. Um, oh, well, you were fucked up, you don't remember. Yeah, well, no one's gonna have the upper hand on me with that ever again. That is fucking insane. Oh, and this whole time he's also like incorporating his road rage into his raps. Like he says something and then he's like, "What's this guy's problem on the side of me?" That made it feel. It makes this is. I'm gonna mention this a lot through this entire podcast. Eminem has this amazing ability to create these images in my brain as if I'm watching this in a memory or a movie. It just makes it feel like I'm there, like the situation is so spot on. And to be real with you, my friends always would be like, aren't you tired of living in all this drama and all this chaos? And I just like never saw it. Um, because it was all so normal to me. But when I listen to these songs and you know that Marshall and Kim had this crazy fucking relationship and you're able to relate to how he feels, I knew I had a problem. He goes on to say, Kim, why don't you like me? I love you. I hate you. And he's like, I swear to fucking God, I hate you. And he like goes on and he's like, really, and it's extreme. But that is what an argument feels like when you're in a toxic relationship. It feels so intense. And so, oh, I watched a whole ass hair clip. Oh, I saw a TikTok that if you get in a car accident with a hair clip in your hair, it will go through your skull. And that was from an ER nurse. So anyway, now I have them all over my like sweatshirt pockets, like the sides of my jackets. But so fun facts for everyone. To keep in mind, don't die with those in your hair. So where were we? Yeah, that's what it feels like to be in these crazy arguments. And I just realized I never want to fucking go back to that. Then I started listening to the song Superman fucking religiously, probably every day, multiple times a day, so often that I realized I was perpetuating these cycles of abuse because this is what made me realize that I had all this crazy trauma. Because Eminem didn't want to get back into another relationship because he had all this trauma. It drove him crazy. I get it. And this is what made me realize that I had all this trauma with my ex's suicide. I talked to one of our mutual friends who said that he went to rehab and like realized like that's why he drank all the time was because he didn't heal from his death. And fuck, man, that's real. I didn't heal from it either. That shit sucks. So, I just realized it way later because I never drove when I drank. I didn't drink and things like that 24/7, only when I didn't have my son. My kid kept me grounded. And that's another aspect of Eminem's music of like him and Haley and how she always keeps him grounded. That is my son for me. So I was listening to Superman 8 million times a day. Like, I'm not even kidding. Somebody said on TikTok not that long ago that women are single by choice and men don't have any understanding of that because they are not single by choice. But the interesting aspect with Eminem is that he's single by choice. So he understands this aspect of womanhood that like most men will never. Most men will absolutely never understand. I feel like so men, when I talk to them, they'll be like, "Oh, you like this, don't you?" Or "You don't think like that, do you?" Or whatever. And it's usually always something to do with an opinion that has to do with feminism or is like pro woman. I've noticed a lot of men say this about like Cardi B's music, Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, any female rapper. And that shit pisses me off, especially if they hate Nicki Minaj, but they love Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne also does these voices because they always say, well, Nicki Minaj sounds like and it's so annoying. It sounds like she just shouting like screw off, screw off. Because even Lil Wayne will say Nicki was doing these voices just like he was, and he knew he had to sign her because most female rappers were just not doing that at that time. So even Lil Wayne says like, hey, she was doing shit we were doing. So if you don't like women, just say that, bro. If you think our voices are annoying, just say that, bro. I will die on that hill. Literally. Because everybody always wants to put Jay-Z at number one, and Nicki Minaj bodied him and Kanye in Monster. Okay, but this episode is not about Nicki Minaj. Just a little thing I've noticed. They'll be like, oh, well, you don't like Nicki Minaj, do you? You don't like Tommy B, do you? Yeah, I do. Yes, I do. And so they'll try and form your opinion, and it almost feels like, why? I'm not trying to entertain you, bro. I'm not trying to be your wife. I'm not trying to be any of that. I don't want to take care of you. I don't want another person to cook for. I don't want another person to have to worry about throughout my whole day. I don't want any of that. Okay? I just want to live my life alone. And that whole song, Superman, is all about that. What, you trying to be my new wife? Yeah. Like, I'm not trying to be your wife. Go away. Stop trying to put these weird opinions in my brain that don't exist there. So go away. Don't love that. Then they always ask, how old is your son? What's his name? What grade is he in? Blah, 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 blah. Go away. And it's just the same. Haley, Jade, I love that name. No. Listen, we'll be friends and I'll call you again. I'll chase you around every bar you attend. You don't want that. Neither do I. This is what I go through in my brain. Because when I say that I have addiction problems, I can be addicted to anything and I get jealous and weird. And until I heal all the rest of my bullshit, I can't be jumping into any relationships. And I always seem to jump into the relationships that are like just not great. And then I am addicted to them. And it's a whole thing. And I don't want that. And neither do they. Literally, neither do they. Because all it takes is one time for me to feel like I've been morally wronged and disrespected, and I'll show you what it's like to get hurt. That's like in Spacebound. Literally connect the dots. Bing, bing, bing. And then it all turn into the song Kim. And I will daydream about putting you into a trunk, allegedly. Allegedly. I said allegedly, okay? I don't daydream about putting any of my exes in the trunk ever. But I had a guy try to say that about Andrew Tate one time, and I was like, "No, I absolutely fucking do think he's a douchebag. What? Go away. Thanks for the coffee. Bye-bye." It just reminds me of the line, "First off, you don't know Marshall, and also don't go partial." That's ammo for my arsenal. That's my favorite verse of Eminem's. What's it say about me? I have things in my brain that I need to heal from. Like I resonate so much with that song that I got the Three of Swords tarot card. If you know, you know. Um, with I can't be your Superman straight up on my forearm because I need to be reminded of that. I need to look down and be like, "Yep, you're right, bro. You're right. You don't need that. Walk away." Then I started listening to 25 to Life on recovery. I have literally lost so many friends over these relationships. I've lost things that I like did in my life. Like I used to do burlesque. I don't do that anymore because these things just like started a bunch of fights like all the time. So I just would always make myself smaller because these dudes' egos got in the way of my shit. Like, I don't know. It just was easier not to, just not to engage, I guess. So it says, I don't think she understands the sacrifices that I've made. Maybe if this bitch acted right, I would have stayed. I would rather burn down every bridge while I'm fucking standing on it than ever go back to the way my life was. And that was a crazy thing to like think about and to understand about myself. Cause I was like, holy shit. I really do feel that way. Like I would light everything on fucking fire. So then to go back to that shit. Never again, dude. Bitch, you took me for granted, took my heart and ran it straight into the planet, into the dirt. I can no longer stand it. Now my respect, I demand it. I'm gonna take control of this relationship, command it, and I'm gonna be the boss of you now, God damn it. And what I mean is that I will no longer let you control me. I've literally said, like, I'm taking control and I really just want you to leave me alone. I find it funny when the subject of control is brought up because if one party thinks that controlling means telling the other what to do and the other feels that it means leaving the other alone and respecting their boundaries, that tells you exactly who the narcissist is. Right there. Ooh, shit. My tower just went, bink. Sign from the universe. Somebody needed to hear that. Say that again, Tim. If one party says that control is telling the other what to do and overlording on their life, and the other is like, no, I'm taking control of this situation, and they just want their boundaries respected, that will tell you who the narcissist is. Because I know when you have been gaslit multiple times over and over, you straight up feel like, am I a narcissist? I literally might be. Oh my God. No, babe, you probably just got tired of trying and instead of leaving reciprocated the behavior, which also wasn't good. And we need to probably clean that up a little bit as well. But being self aware is good. And I have just like literally started telling myself, I will not apologize for who I had to be to survive. Because I've had to like get out of relationships and like make escape plans almost because I had things so interlocked with people. Like I straight up had to plan how to leave. But when I started realizing my exes in the past, this is more than one ex has done this. I would say almost all of them have done this actually. They'll be like, don't talk about this. Don't tell anybody about me. Blah, blah, blah. You better not be fucking talking about me. And you know what? They always end up talking about me. And it reminds me of Benzino when he got all drunk on that podcast, because it's always when they're drunk. I've had so many women over the course of many, many years tell me, oh, so and so was talking about you. And I just thought you should know. I didn't know that I knew you. I didn't know I had you on social media. I didn't, whatever. I've had him come into my work because I was a bartender for 10 years. I've had him hit me up on social media, you name it. But it always is, they were talking about you and they creeped me out and I had to block them on social media. This has happened so many times over the course of so many years. And you know what? I decided at 34, I'm just going to realize this is more common than not. And I'm going to stop. I'm just going to stop because more times than not, they have told me, bro, your dude freaked me the fuck out. And I had to block him on all my social medias. Talk to women, dude. Please talk to your fellow woman. Reach out, say, be neutral, be like, yo, I'm not gonna be mad because this is a him and I problem more than a you and I problem. Like, I just am wondering what happened. I won't be mad. And then don't be mad. Make sure you stick to your word because it's not her problem. It's your dude's problem. Fuck that guy. Fuck that fucking guy. He's the one who made the decision when you were with him to do whatever he did. So, and I'm saying even small things. Like one time one of my friends needed to get a hold of my ex, and no, it wasn't shady to me. I've known this girl since she was fucking 10 years old. Chill out. It was like an innocent interaction before anybody starts being like, no. He answered the phone and he was like, who is this? And she goes, you don't have my number saved? And because this girl's like my sister. And he was like, no, should I? Your voice sounds sexy. Of course, when I asked him about it, he didn't say that. But this bitch would never lie to me. She's like my family. I know her since I was 10. And you have a whole slew of women that you've creeped the fuck out and have told me about it. So I'm going to say it's probably you. Moral of the story is that when they hold on to this and they've been talking about it for so long and it makes you feel awful about yourself because you're like, oh my God, he's spreading rumors about me. What if people think they're true? Only idiots will think they're true. Smart people will be like, oh my God. Remember when Benzino got drunk on that podcast and cried and was like, it's right. I'm sick of it. Every interview I do, we're 20. Everybody just asks me about Eminem. Get out of here, bro. Wipe them tears. Let's take the L and go. Go on and get. Sorry, my Midwestern is coming out. Whoop! Even Eminem's old security guard, he wrote a book which was bitching the entire time, FYI. He like said really creepy things. Like she was like, all I was allowed to do was take pictures because I was married. Why are you taking pictures of girls like that? I bet they didn't appreciate that. He wanted to get his rap group off the ground the whole time, and he kept saying, I'm just here to work. No, you're not. You keep saying that you're here to get the Wad Squad off the ground. Yes, this guy's rap group was called the Wad Squad. Bad choice. Bad choice. Maybe we should have rethought that. But anyway, on a podcast, it said, everybody only ever asks me about this book, and this is the last time I'm talking about it for 20 years. Blah, blah, blah. I'm done. This is the last one. Same energy. Baby, you love to talk about it. Because if you didn't bring up Eminem, you wouldn't be entertaining on your own. Just like these mediocre men. Bye. Then it says, you know what you've done. No need to go in depth. I told you you'd be sorry if I fucking laughed. I laughed while you wept. How's it feel now? Yeah, funny, ain't it? You neglected me. Ooh. Oh, shit. Mic drop, because that is exactly how I have felt in the past. Um, every time after I have left, these men always cry and they're like, don't, I'm just need somebody to talk to. It ain't me, bro. Go talk to your buddies. You wanted their approval over mine at all times, which is another conversation. I fucking hate men that act like that. Like they need to impress their homies so bad that they are willing to treat you like garbage. Get the fuck out of here. Go cry to them. You work so hard to be their friends. So, get out. Just get the fuck out. Every time that I have left a relationship like this, they literally do say, what did I do? I don't even understand. You do know. You knew because when you thought I was leaving, you immediately fixed these things and then acted like I was the dick for not wanting to give you the time of day when you decided to try. Get out of here, bro. Get the fuck out. I probably gave you way too many chances because of who I am as a human being. I am my father's daughter. It says, I feel like when I bend over backwards for you, all you do is laugh, because that ain't good enough. You expect me to fold myself in half till I snap. There was probably, I don't know, 3 years of my life that I never even stayed at my place when my son wasn't here. So when my son went with my ex-husband, I was constantly at this dude's house. And he just like never even realized, like, I spend all my free time with you, bro. All the time. And then when I would invite him over to like cook for him and stuff, it was always, oh, you laundry everywhere. You do this. Da, da, da. Yeah, because every time I have free time, I'm at your place, homie. So you can't have both. Like you like nothing was good enough. Either I wasn't spending enough time with them, my house wasn't clean enough for them. First of all, you don't live here, bro. I haven't lived with a man since 2016. So you don't fucking live here, bro. What are you doing? Go away then. Like, I'm just go to your own place. I don't care. But, and if it wasn't any of those things, it was, I wasn't social enough. I wasn't this. I wasn't that. Go find someone who is then. If you want those things, go find someone who is, because obviously it ain't fucking me. Go away. But they don't think that. They just want to make you, that's them making you feel small. So you don't feel good enough and you're not read. But you are, okay? You're going to pick yourself up. If you are in this scenario, you're going to pick yourself up and get the fuck out of there, because fuck these men or women who treat you like this, because this is about him. So, and that's feminism, baby. That is feminism, baby. We want equality for everyone. Don't I give you enough of my time? Ooh, this is okay. This is where I was going with that anyway. Don't I give you enough of my time? You don't think so, do you? Jealous when I spend time with the girls? Why I'm married to you still? Man, I don't know. This next part, I already touched on that too. I'm moving on, forget you. Oh, now I'm special. I feel special when I was with you. All I ever felt was helplessness, imprisoned by a selfish bitch, chew me up and spit me out. I fell for this so many times, it's ridiculous. I'm sick of this. But in my sickness and addiction, you're addictive as they get, evil as they come, vindictive as they may come. Yeah, bro, this is so spot on. They like know your weak spots and they use that against you to keep you small and to get you to stay. Fuck that shit. Like, we're not taking that. We're not taking that anymore. I just noticed where a lot of these relationships started was they wanted to like look single or appear single to other people. This was like the first sign of all these relationships, literally. They wanted to be very secretive about hanging out with me. And then they either whether it was like me doing burlesque, me knowing mutual friends, and then all of a sudden I was like, cool, or whether it was my job, because I worked at like some of the popular bars in town, whatever it was, then it made me feel like the song Marshall Mathers, where all of a sudden now he's a big deal and he's finally allowed to step foot in his girlfriend's house. Um, if you ever feel like that, and that's the first, literally, that is always the first sign, fucking run for the hills because like they never start treating you better. So then after all of this, and I started realizing these things, I was just so angry and I realized I needed to stop listening to Kim. I mean, that song made me feel a little too comfy living in my craziness. Um, I picked up Revival. And you guys can all talk shit all you want, but if I were Eminem, I wouldn't come out with a whole diss album about you guys not fucking liking the album Revival either. He put out his whole guts to you guys, and nobody respected that. Chile, bro. Not Chile, bro, Eminem. You guys. I'm gonna put you onto this, okay? This album made my brain explode so crazy to the point where I just realized like I needed this closure from a dude. And it also explained some of my actions. And we'll talk about those as well because I'm going to be 100% transparent here. So the song Need Me featuring Pink, first and foremost, thank you so much for putting Pink on that song. She is such a strong figure to feminists all over. And that was powerful to me. We love Pink. We're Team Pink. Um, it says, "Give her another chance, another one after that. I'm swimming in that Egyptian river 'cause I'm in denial. Say I don't eat shit, but I got a shit-eating grin when I smile. Making an excuse for us to act it out. She's just acting out with her inner child. Then I set the truth on fire 'cause I'd rather believe in a lie." Oh, Marshall, you dropped a bomb, bro. What? This made my brain explode. Literally, I felt so seen in this. I have given people so many chances and I just believe them because I would rather believe that they are sorry or that they're going to change or whatever than think that they would actually do these things to me. And one of my exes would always say, I never laid a finger on you." First of all, that wasn't true. He did push me a few times. But we won't go there. He would say, "I never laid a finger on you. I never cheated on you. I never did anything to you." He broke my trust literally all the time. Drove a car that we were supposed to flip, that I paid for and he was gonna sell and I was gonna like give him commission for it. Drove that thing till it died. I needed the money at the time. Fuck you. Don't fuck with my money. Like that's rule number one. Especially when I brought it up multiple times and like he'd get mad at me. Fuck you, dude. I literally never forgave him for that. And I didn't realize that. And his excuse was always, "Well, I ended up paying you back." Get out of here. Don't fucking talk to me. You were never gonna sell that car. Anyway, that's a little personal. Struck a little bit of a chord with me. Uh, and that is called financial abuse. Fuck, dude. Um, and also, I never listened to my friends when they would point these things out. Like, "Are you sure? Because he is not acting or he's doing these things." I never believed them. I just like never believed them. And they would really try hard to like tell me like, "Hey girl, maybe you should watch out for this." Never wanted to. "I'm in trouble, but I can't leave. I'd sell you out. I could never turn my fucking back on you." What is that? Let me say that again. "I'm in trouble, but I can't leave. I'd sell you out. I could never turn my fucking back on you." What is that? I'm codependent? I'm just now noticing it. But somehow it's like every time I'm about to end it, I ain't got the cojones to do it, nor the heart. I didn't ever really realize I was like codependent because at first when it's in, like, the honeymoon phase, I am really clingy, like, so clingy to the and that's, I think, where I teach these men, like, "Hey, it's okay to treat me like this because like, I'm clingy and I'll be here no matter what." But then I have an avoidant attachment style, and I will fucking run fight or flight. I'm gonna choose flight every time. So, like, I just didn't realize that I was codependent because fight or flight, I'll go. I'll go. Bye. But I am codependent because it takes me a long time to get to that fight or flight. Like, I'll just sit there and I'll go with the punches every single time. And it's so disgusting. And I fucking hate myself for that. But it's also important to note too, like when I was going through like this codependency, I also was going through addiction problem. And I would have exes that would order my favorite drinks to tell me, "Oh, you can get one too. It's okay. You can just have one." I always would, and that I would beat myself up about it for a long time. One of my exes, when I was trying to get sober, took me to this thing to like film like a commercial for a bar, and I was like, "Oh, okay." Like I just thought I was gonna be in the background or something. No, no, I was supposed to be taste testing alcohol. Pissed me off. I was like, "You put me in these scenarios and do it on purpose." It felt like the skit at the beginning. I know I'm jumping around here a little bit, but it felt like the skit at the beginning of Relapse, where it's called Dr. West, and it's a dream, and Eminem is getting out of rehab in his dream. And he is saying that he's anxious to get back into the world. And the guy's like, "Have you found a sponsor yet?" Eminem goes, "No." He says, "Not a big deal. There's a lot of steps to learn anyway. Like, who fucking cares? I don't even know them all." Just making a mockery. He's just basically like saying, like, "Well, you're free out. Go out into the world now. Maybe we'll see you later." Essentially, you know? And finally, he goes, "Well, I have one more question. What do I do if somebody's drinking around me and I get the urge to drink?" And he goes, "Have a drink. Take the edge off." And then he's like, "If I have a drink, I know what that leads to." And he shakes the pill bottles and he's like, "You mean memes?" And then that's when he wakes up because he's like, "No, no, no, no." That skit is like a minute and a half, and it just perfectly describes what it feels like to be in a relationship with somebody who doesn't respect your sobriety. I just look back at those times and I'm like, no wonder why I thought about allegedly putting my exes in that trunk. I heard the song Tragic Endings is another one on Revival that just loves. All my life, I was told I was never nothing special. I don't need to be reminded of it every other second, especially when all my self esteem's already shot to hell. I'm falling helplessly. I'm embarrassed. I don't want no one else to see because I feel like I'm a piece of shit every time she yells at me. This is going to get crazy for a second. I used to have an ex that when we would argue and he would scream at me and he would tell me to shut the fuck up. He would call me a dumb bitch, all these things all the time. I felt like I couldn't do anything to defend myself. Like I was just helpless in these moments, you know? And I would hit myself in the fucking face because I just felt so crazy. But then looking back on it and rethinking about these moments, I remembered one time my ex told me that a girl he hung out with before me came out of his room and cut her wrist in front of him. And he said that she was like, "You made me do this, you fucking crazy person." And now I'm starting to be like, oh my God, maybe she wasn't crazy. I had met her before. So I didn't get those vibes when I met her. She seemed nice enough. And knowing what I know now, I'm like, if anybody ever tells me that women act like that around them, I'm running. Because why was she acting like that, bro? What'd you say to her? What'd you do to her? And I'm not saying every woman is innocent, but also, like, what happened that she felt that that was an appropriate reaction? Ah, Jesus. But then he describes being manipulated in a way that was a light bulb moment for me. The chorus just hits so fucking hard. It's like I'm drowning at sea, hoping that you'll reach for me. I know you're there, but I can't see because I'm too drunk on tragic endings. That's true. Because when you want to be able to trust your partner and reach for them in your time of need, but you don't trust them because when you've been in need before, they might have made you feel like an idiot, like a burden, whatever it is that they made you feel, like a piece of shit, any of that. When they make you feel like that, you don't trust them anymore. So you're just drowning and you're like, God, I wish that they would just jump in and save me and be a partner. But also, like, even if they did that, I'm so drunk off of these crazy situations that we've been through together that there's no way I could ever trust you. And that is a fucking trauma bond. But I got close to leaving a few times, and then one of my exes got a DUI, so he couldn't drink because he had an ankle monitor that like tested the alcohol level in his sweat every so often. And our relationship was never better. In fact, that was when I realized that I didn't want to drink anymore. When he was sober and I was drinking, I felt like a douchebag. So I quit drinking for a while and it was so great. But that ankle monitor didn't have to stay on forever. So this brings us to the creme de la creme of revival. A lot of people when this first came out were like, oh my God, he's still bitching about Kim. Shut the fuck up. If you've never been in this cycle of abuse, be thankful. But you're not going to mess up my healing because you want to be a fucking hater. Bad husband is everything I've ever needed to hear an ex say that they will never say. A man will never speak this way to me. I shouldn't say a man will never speak this way to me. None of my exes are man enough to ever say any of this shit to me. Because even though I have expressed that I just wanted to be done, I just want to be away from all the fighting and all the hurting, they literally all of them have argued with me like, oh, will you stop trying? This is your fault. You're walking away. Blah. Yes, I am walking away. I'm walking away because this sucks. Like you want to hurt me like this almost every day. I don't want to hurt you like this every day. Like
Yes.
we never saw it from each other's side or eye to eye, just eye for eye, lie for lie, fight or flight. Then it talks about public fights. This is why you go back. A lot of times when I've gone back in the past, I have just wanted to almost like right all the wrongs of like public arguments or public, like almost to prove to everybody, we're not crazy. We can make this work. No, no, no. Those motherfuckers made me crazy and I probably made them crazy. Oh, you're out of there. You're out of there while you still get. He admits, you hit me once and that I would use to continue the pattern of abuse. I do not care. When abuse is introduced to the relationship, it's always going to be there. In my experience, if you guys go to therapy and do the work, whatever, I've never had a partner who has ever like wanted to talk about that or even admit that I just have been gaslit to try and cover it up like it was my problem. Like, oh, you're a crazy person and this was your fault that I reacted like that or that I did these things. Um, it's not. It's not. Um, and it's not ever your fault whenever I overreacted as well. But then it talks about how Kim pulled herself up and they decided to get back together and make it work. And this is the ankle monitor situation. I was thinking about leaving before the ankle monitor. Then that happened and I stayed for like another couple years. And I just kept thinking, I just want our relationship back. But then I would cry and say, I just want to get off this ride. I just want to get off this ride. Ugh, so crazy. So crazy. It says, we brought out the worst in each other. Someone had to make the sparring end because I loved you, but I hated that me. And I don't want to see that me again. And this, every time he says this line, I almost want to cry, even if people are around. I like really have to try hard not to bawl my eyes out during when he says this. He says, "But I'm sorry, Kim. Leaving you was harder than sawing off a fucking body limb." Yeah. Every ex of mine has tried to be like, "Oh, it was easy for you because you had to walk, because you just got to walk away and leave me and blah, 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 blah." No, being the one to walk away is way harder because I made the decision for you. It ain't easy being the one to decide to go. Then he says, "For all the times that we thought it worked, till we saw how wrong we were, when the dust settles and all the dirt. If I touch the rawest nerve, all I want is for us not to hurt." And that, my friends, is the apology that I have always wanted from a man and I will never get. So, with that being said, I may never get my closure from these men, but I will always have Marshall Bruce Mathers. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little episode, this crazy ass ride of traumatic experiences. I hope you laughed a little bit. Bye, babes. Catch you next week to fold some more fucking laundry.